Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm FATIN SOLEHAH. So today we will be looking into the topic common derivational pattern. So in this video I will be covering the three sections, which are the introduction, which I will define what is derivational morpheme, and second one we're looking into the difference between inflectional and derivational morphemes, and lastly we will look into the three derivational patterns. So looking at the definition, a derivational morpheme is an affix, which is a group of letters added before the beginning, we call as prefix, or at the end, we call as suffix, added to a base, and change the semantic meaning and part of speech of an existing words. So, in this process of word formation, there are two functions, which is derivational and inflectional. So, what is the difference between inflectional and derivational? Derivational morpheme is to form a new word with a new meaning, and it also can change part of the speech, which is the word class of the word. And derived words is often of a different word class from the word, like from noun to verb, like that. And while inflectional morphemes are those who do not create new meaning, however, these morphemes never change the syntactic category of a words or morphemes to which they are attached. They only refine and give extra grammatical information about the already existing meaning of the words. For example, like from walk and walks, okay, with the suffix s. Okay. So before we dive into the three patterns, there is three important terms, which is the nominal, which means derived from a noun. For example, like from noun to noun, noun to verb, noun to adjective. And the second one is the verbal, which means it is derived from a verb. From verb to noun, verb to verb, verb to adjective. And lastly, the adjectival, which is derived from an adjective, from an adjective to noun, adjective to verb, adjective, and to adjectives. Okay. And then we will be looking into the patterns. So there is derived nouns, derived verbs, and derived adjectives. Alright, the first pattern is derived nouns. The first component in derived nouns is the nominal nouns, which means from noun to noun. Denominals, which means derived from noun. Okay, so nouns that is derived from a noun. For example, the suffix hood, hood. For example, from the word parent, parenthood, neighbor, neighborhood. And then there is also the suffix er, village, villager, prison, prisoner, or the suffix or, contract, contractor, edit, editor. And also the suffix ship, friend, friendship, leader, leadership. And last but not least is the suffix ian. For example, from the words politic to politician, theology to theologian. And the words could sometimes be arbitrary, and the rules might not be applicable to all. For example, like as we can see, the village with the we use the suffix er, not or. Village, not villageur. And also we the editor, we use the suffix or, not er. And the second component is the verbal noun, which is derived from a verb to a noun. For an example, the suffix with the t, hospitalize, hospitalization. Hospitalize a verb, and then we transform it into a noun, hospitalize, hospitalization. Add, addition. And then suffix with the s, supervise, supervision. Transfuse, transfusion. And also the suffix ance, perform, performance, maintain, maintenance, and also the suffix er, bake, baker, teach, teacher, lecture, lecturer. And the suffix ant, vary, which is a verb, to variant, which is a noun. Assist, assistant. And however, in this part, in this component, we should note the difference between the differable nouns of certain words. For example, like perform, from the verb performed, we can derive it into two nouns, performance and performer. And the third component is the adjectival nouns. For example, with the suffix ness, high, which is an adjective, highness, we transform it into a noun, thickness. And then we have the suffix et, pure, purity, responsible, responsibility. And it usually brings the means of property of being and acts. Alright, the second pattern is derived verbs. And we also have the three components, which is the nominal verbs, the verbal verbs, and the adjectival verbs. In the denominal verbs, we have the suffix e5, for example, from the noun beauty, to beautify, glory, glorify, and we also have the suffix ice, victim, victimize, modern, modernize. And formation can also happen without the formation of derivational morphemes, as what we learned in the previous class. For example, the word pen, which is a literal pen that we use to write, and the action of writing, and also a plant, which is a plant, and the action of planting something. And then we have the verbal verbs, which is from verb to verbs. You have the prefix re, redo, reincarnate, the prefix undo and unlock, prefix detoxicate and debug. However, it is mostly using prefixes. However, there is also the suffix, for example, from the word absent to absentee with the suffix ee. And then we also have interview and interviewee. And the third component in the derived verbs is the adjectival verbs, which is from adjective to a verb. There is the suffix en, weak, weaken, thick, thicken, and the suffix ifi, pure, which is an adjective, to purify, simple, simplify. And the suffix en could either become transitive, which is the cause to acts, or intransitive, which is becoming acts. Last but not least, which is the third pattern, a derived adjective. We have the nominal adjective, which is from noun to an adjective, with the suffix full, beauty, beautiful, joy, joyful, with the suffix less, endless, fear, fearless, and the suffix ish, boy, boyish, style, stylish, and the suffix y, girl, girly, juice, juicy, and the suffix ic, titanic, titan, titanic, angel, angelic. And then we have the suffix some, troublesome, trouble, troublesome, bother, bothersome, burden, burdensome, from noun to adjective. And then we have the verbal adjective, which is verb to an adjective, with the suffix able, sustain, sustainable, adapt, adaptable, attain, attainable, and the suffix ive, attract, which is a verb, attractive, abuse, abusive, and the suffix ing, interest, interesting, annoying. And then we also have the suffix ous, continue, continuous, ridicule, ridiculous. And then lastly, we have the suffix ary, airy, complement, complementary, imagine, imaginary. And then the last component, the adjectival adjective, which is from adjective to adjectives. We have the prefix unhappy, happy, unhappy, sure, unsure, certain, uncertain. And we also have the word the prefix bipolar, bilingual, bidialectal, bicultural. But the prefixes does not applicable to all adjective. For example, there is no such words like unmad or unglad or bipolitical. So it is only applicable to specific words. So I guess that's it from me. Thank you, and I hope this video is beneficial to all of us. Have a nice day. Thank you.